Good evening, Washington, D.C., and welcome to Straight Up Talk with Earl Rush. And I'm Earl Rush. This evening, I have the honor and the privilege of going on with one of my good friends, Jeff Taveras. He is the director of Huracan Dance Company. They are world champions in cha-cha-cha and in salsa. So I don't know too much I need to say about you, but let me run this little clip by you right quick so you understand what we're dealing with. So I'm just running a few seconds of Jeff and Julie, and then we'll get straight to the conversation.
The number 374 from Queens, New York, Jeffrey and Julie estamos en competencia.
Wow. Okay, so now you see what we're dealing with. Smooth, suave, savoir-faire. That's a hot couple. They bring in the heat and they bring in the fire. Okay, so we're going to catch up with Jeff because he's busy. He's teaching some class. He was supposed to be teaching an intermediate class tonight, but I guess he had one of his assistants help him out. Let's get to Jeff because Jeff got a lot going on. Jeff, how are you, buddy?
What's going on?
All right, good to see you. We're going to go through some of our good memories, Jeff, all the good times we've had together, and we will also go over what you have going on now, if anything, with this COVID as crazy it is, and we want to talk about some of your future plans as well. So we're going to get around to it, and you have several incredible major announcements to make. We will get to that, so it's going to be fun. So you've been doing pretty good?
I've been hanging in there, surviving, man. Surviving. Tough year. Tough year for everybody. I got hit. I was sick last year. I was pretty sick in the beginning. In the beginning of everything, last March, I got sick, and COVID hit me pretty hard.
Oh wow!
And it was a little bit of a rude awakening for me, but now I'm doing good. Just trying to get in shape and, living one day at a time.
I hear that. You know what, Jeff? I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, like back in late February, I don't know whether it was COVID or not. I'm not sure, but I tell you, I was sick as a dog. I've never been that sick before in my life.
Yeah.
I had it and didn't even know I had it. So
by the way, Earl, I just want to interrupt you. I thank you for the intro. You made me feel I felt really important all of a sudden.
Come on, Jeff. You are important. Get out of here.
Said, wow, that was us? Like, yeah, that was us. Right.
It was hot. It was fire. It was fire. But just because we know each other real good, that don't mean I can't acknowledge that you thorough. You bad dude, man. A lot of times acquaintances and friends, they don't acknowledge their friends or their acquaintances' talent because they might say, that's just Jeff, or somebody say, well, that's just Johnny or whoever, and they take people for granted, people's talents for granted. But
yeah,
that's a whole other story. We're not kind of going that down thing. We're going to have an upbeat conversation. So the first thing I want to know, Jeff, when you were growing up, was there music in your family?
Yeah, there was. My father was a huge. There was a lot of merengue played in my house.
Okay.
I like to think of Fernandito Villalona as he's almost like our version of Hector Lavoe.
Okay.
In the merengue world.
Okay.
Dope voice. My father played a lot of Fernandito Villalona, a lot, and a lot of Bonnie Cepeda. Bonnie Cepeda was more of like, how can I put this? Like, he's very his band was very recognized in DR, but they were a little bit more street, and they had the fun. They had the dances, the four guys always dancing, and my father was really big on Fernandito and Bonnie Cepeda, and I grew up on that. And I was a huge merengue head. In the late 80s, all my cousins, they were hip hop heads. So from the time I was 4 or 5 years old, I was a huge hip hop head. A lot of people. It's funny because I did an interview a couple months ago. And we started when we started, they were like, "Hey, I heard that you're a hip hop head, and we want you to rhyme some Biggie." And I was like, "Oh," because I guess my brother had shared that info. But I was a huge hip hop head. I was a huge merengue and rap. I was, Wu-Tang and LL Cool J and yeah. So that I was always into music. I didn't realize how important music was in my life until I started dancing.
Okay.
Because I was an athlete. So growing up, I was like, people would say, "Oh, I love music," and I'm like, "Nah, I love baseball and football. This is it. This is what I do. I play sports." Right. But I was always into music from a very young age.
Cool.
Very young age. Yeah.
Nice. Who is Bridget? Is she in the group? Bridget Rope? Is she in the group?
She's in the group. Oh, Bridget is in the group, and Bridget was me and Bridget met when I first started in Santo Rico. Me and Bridget met. Bridget was my first partner.
Okay.
She's an integral part of Huracan, and we love her very much.
All right.
She has a lot of good energy.
We want to give a Cllave out to her. Thank you, Bridget, for checking in on the show, showing us some love. Have I danced with her before?
I'm sure you have.
Oh,
time.
Oh, thanks for telling all the lady dancers in your group to take it easy, Moby, down at our last party.
Yeah, right. You're the OG. Earl, you're the OG, man. You.
hey,
nobody holding you at a social.
Let me ask you this, Jeff. You don't know, but I find it quite strange. A lot of guys, a lot of males that are in the field, in the game, that I respect, and I think their dance game is just out of control. They all got a love for baseball. Osmar, Jose Luis Maldonado, Izzy Rodriguez, Jorge from Island Touch. Everybody love baseball. What's the deal?
There's it's crazy. And shout out to my brother who just checked in. My brother will tell you this. When we used to play, we played in Brooklyn. We live in Queens, but we played in Brooklyn, and we played for a team. I played for a team called Youth Service, and then the Brooklyn Bonnies, which is really big in the baseball circuit. Like if you're a baseball player, especially in New York, you get it. But when I went to play there, it was straight up like it was very the team was all minorities, right? And the coach was too. I had never played, for African American coaches, and we were all minorities. And it was crazy because when we went to the practice, the first time we went indoors in the gym, he started playing music, and he played music when we practiced, and that was new for us. And I asked him, I was like, why do you play music during the practices? It's dope, but why do you do it? And he was like, well, baseball's like a dance. He said everything you do in baseball has a dancer's quality. Like the way you catch a ball, you have to step and get on your toes. And he was like, so a dancing, and back then I never even thought about going into the dance world, but just there's transferable skills. So you're gonna see a lot of baseball players that become dancers because the two things they interact really well.
Okay, so it's relation to it. All right.
Yeah.
We want to give a special Cllave out to Philip Martinez for coming on the show, and my boy Abel. What's up, man? I was hoping he came on the show. He's funny. I like him. I like your brother, man. He's a good dude. Well, Jeff, we're gonna have to talk later about. I think I might need y'all to come down to the anniversary for the 18th anniversary, like you guys did last year. But I'm kind of sketchy about this.
I get it. I understand.
It's COVID-19. I'm so afraid of it. I'm so afraid of it. But maybe by then, they're getting the vaccines out, but whatever. I have some work for you to do for sure. Anyway, that's for sure. So, Jeff, when you were growing up, we know you played sports. So I guess, did that kind of keep you out of trouble?
Yeah, man. Especially where I grew up. Yeah, it kept me out of trouble. It was my thing. It was my thing. It was funny because I came to my parents and I said, "Hey, I want to play." Like I looked it up in the yellow pages and everything, and I started playing at like 9. I started playing baseball, and I showed talent for it right away, and I love football too. So when I was 10, I started playing football, and I pretty much did both until. When I started getting towards the end of high school, then people were like, all right, listen, you have talent in baseball. You got to stop messing around with the football stuff. And, so I stopped playing football. I went to, I ended up going to a Division II school. I got a scholarship. Funny because I was trying to get Edwin to come on. And he had a prior engagement. But Edwin's a year younger than me. So when he got to high school, I was the captain of the team. He joined the team, and me and Edwin, we clicked. Like we worked together, And when I went to college, he was a senior. I called him. I said, "Come over here. Like we're a Division II, but we're a powerhouse." So me and Edwin went to high school, went to college together, and then when I started dancing, I brought him too. And Edwin, he started with me in Santo Rico, and now he's. He's still doing his thing. He dances with us sometimes, New York Movement, Billy, I think Adolfo now. So, but Edwin and I, we played baseball together in high school and college. That's how we met.
All right. Okay. So when did you get in? Just like most of the gentlemen that I speak with in this game.
You already know. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask you, you probably don't know. What made you get into Latin? I mean, I know you grew up with merengue, but what made you get into salsa? Was it a woman?
Well, I knew you were going there. So well, the first time I went to a club, the very first time, it was a teen night. I was 13. They played salsa music. Everybody sat.
Okay.
Except for, like 2 or 3 couples. And I was like, wow, that's dope. I need to learn that at some point in my life. I need to learn how to dance salsa.
Right.
And, I didn't think about it. So when I was about 21 years old, I used to go to a gym to play basketball, right? When I wasn't in baseball season, I played, like I said, I was always active. And I left the gym and there was a girl and she was pretty and I looked at her. And she called me over. She said, "Come here." And I was like, she said, so she gave me a flyer and she said, "Come take salsa classes." And then I left and I was like, man, I always wanted to go. So I came the next week and I took like 2 or 3 classes, but I had to go back to college.
Okay.
So but I knew I would come back. So in the next year, I brought my brother. And then, and I was like, he didn't want to do it. But he finally came and he got hooked the first class.
Okay.
And then Edwin was just never into stuff like that. So I was like, Edwin, I kind of started doing something. You want to try it? Well, I took a salsa class and he was like, I'll try it. And the 3 of us got hooked instantly.
Yeah.
We were three young guys. We showed up. You know, my brother, it clicked for him right away. He was very natural, but I was a fast learner.
Okay.
Edwin, he struggled a bit in the beginning. We always make fun of him. He struggled, but we just stuck with it after that, and we had the discipline from sports.
Okay.
So, you know, like for me, like I was, you know, if it was like, okay, we're going to rehearse 5 days a week, it was like, all right, cool. It wasn't even a hesitation because that's how we lived with sports. So it just carried right over and it was easy, you know, and, you know, we practiced a lot. That's one thing I remember. Like when we would get home, we would practice and like figure it out. So they were like, you guys are improving a lot, but we worked hard because we just kind of had good work ethic. So it carried over easily.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. I always loved Latin music, but I didn't until I got older. I really didn't appreciate merengue. I used to always, because I was such a salsa man. I said, I want to hit on merengue. You couldn't even play merengue at any of my events, or you might would get escorted out. But I remember hearing some decent merengue before the COVID. I was thinking of my man DJ Rizzo played some slam and merengue. Yeah, Lucky Strikes. I kind of get into
the old school merengue also. Like, you know, if you listen to Fernandito, he's very poetic, right? So, you know, the new school merengue is about energy. But if you go back old school a bit, they had good energy, but they also had, you know, there was some poetry in what they were saying, you know?
Right. Okay. So let me ask you this, Jeff. Were you dancing bachata before mambo or mambo before bachata?
Well, I was dancing bachata first, but you know, bachata looked very different. So I was dancing bachata like at house parties and stuff like that.
Okay.
But you know, it wasn't bachata back then wasn't what bachata is now. Bachata evolved, you know, sometime in, you know, I would say mid to late 2000s is when you started seeing it.
Right.
But, you know, when I was a kid, you know, in the early 90s, mid 90s, we were dancing bachata, but it looked very different. I always tell people, you know, it's funny because the way bachata was introduced to me, and you know, I haven't researched it to the fullest extent, but you know, bachata was like music in the campo, like in the mountains of DR, and it was what they call amalgue. So like think of it like blues. It was more blues, and it was played in raunchy places, if I could be politically correct, in the cabaretes of DR.
Okay.
So if you listen to bachata music, it's very painful music. You know, my wife cheated on me and she slept with this guy and that guy, right? So it was very painful music, and then it took a turn and it became romantic music, right? I remember somebody told me once, they're like, oh, when I think of salsa like hip hop, and I think of bachata like R&B, and I'm like, yeah, that's now. But if you listen to bachata before, it was like, you know, I'm in pain, and that's how bachata was introduced to me. So it was a little different, you know. Now is very, you know, the music is romantic and sensual and all that, but that's not how I remember it.
Okay. All right. Now let me ask you this, Jeff. Before you started dancing with Santo Rico, were you on the social scene several years before then?
I started my first class ever was 03. 04 was when I started taking classes consistently. I used to go to Jorday Rivera. And I used to take class with a gentleman named Al Zagami, who was Nelson Flores dancer.
Oh, okay.
So Al was the one that kind of schooled me to everything, because I was like, oh, where do you practice this? And he's like, well, you got to go to Jimmy's. And I'm like, what's Jimmy's? And he's like, he gave me an address. I'm like, in the middle of Manhattan? And I started. We were out there, so we were going out 5 days a week. Okay. Like my dancers now, they're like, Jeff, man, you lazy. You don't want to come out. Yeah. You don't like to social dance, and it's like, nah, y'all wrong. I love social dancing. The problem is that when you're running 2 studios and traveling every other week, it's hard to get out there. But when I first started, I was going out Mondays. I was doing the Copa on Tuesdays. I was doing LQs on Wednesday, Caché on Thursday. Friday it was the studio socials, Charisma one week. Abby, rest in peace. She had the Mambo Mama social. Yeah. These because I know you did the New York circuit.
Yeah,
I was going to all of these socials. I was out and about all the time.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So then I started. I wanted to we did a performance class, and I liked it. So it was like in a little studio. But I had a great time. So I was like, all right, I want to perform. And then someone said, hey, we're going to do the performance class in Caché. So I was like, all right, that's great. But it was like 8 couples and everybody dropped out except my brother and I. Nobody wanted to do it because they didn't, but my brother and I were like, yeah, let's go. And we went to Caché, we performed. And actually, the day we performed at Caché, right? They gave us love. I guess, when I watched the video, it was kind of funny, but they gave us love. The people cheered for us and, everybody knew we were like kind of beginners.
Right.
And I'll tell you a funny story. Being an athlete, you live up. It was like you fight for the challenge, right? So like, for example, my football team, my first year, we lost all 10 games.
Right.
But it's like you stay with the same group and then the next year you win 2 and then the year after that we made playoffs, right? So it's like you look at it like, yeah, we're not good today, but you fight through it, right? We didn't really jump ship. Like now that's common. Like, if you're with a team and the routine's not great, you leave and you go to another team.
Right.
We weren't really like that. So when we were getting ready for the Caché show, one of the girls, I'll never forget this, bro. And this is, I swear to everything. One of the girls on the team, she goes, we were rehearsing and we made a mistake. And she's like, yo, we got to get together because if we don't get it together, we're going to quit. We just might as well not do the show because Santo Rico is going to be there and we can't look like crap in front of them. And I looked at her and I was like, who the it's Santo Rico. Like, don't give me that. Like, I don't care who Santo Rico is. Because that was my attitude. My attitude was like, I don't care about them. I'm here. We're here. We're going to work. We're going to make it happen. So we did the show, right? And then after the show, they did a birthday dance. And when they did a birthday dance, all the Santo Rico guys got up. They made a circle around the girl and they started dancing. And I was like, and then, and I saw Thomas and I was like, he's a big dude like me. Right? He's, I'm a lot taller than him, but he was a big dude. And I was like, yo, you know what? Like, them boys throw down, you know what I mean? Like they're good. And then, he came up to me afterwards and he was like, yo, good job. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, like I was interested because it looked different at that time, especially.
Okay.
But and then after that, we just kept on with the social scene, and Jordays didn't really have opportunities to continue to perform.
Okay.
So I was like, you got to go to one of the uptown teams. Eddie doesn't really have anything going on, so we started taking classes with Eddie, but Eddie didn't really have anything, in terms of students or even a pro team at the time.
Right.
So then we started with Nelson first. So I started training with Nelson, but Nelson kind of had his team. So he took my brother, but he didn't really have space for me and Edwin at the time. So my brother actually started, performing before us. So and then we took a class in Santo Rico, the 3 of us. And it was really challenging. And I remember that Thomas was like, hey, like, you guys struggled, but you have good timing. Come back. Don't give up on it.
Mhm.
And we did give up on it because we were like, this is too crazy. And then like 6 months later, we bumped into him at a social, and he's like, "Why you didn't come back?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't feel I was ready." He was like, "They're good, come back." And we came back. The next week, he put us on the team, and then the rest was history.
The rest is history, baby.
Yeah.
What can you say? So, about 7 minutes ago, you mentioned you're running 2 studios. I when I was researching,
Yeah.
saw that you now have a studio in Connecticut.
Yeah, in Stanford.
Yeah, what's that about? Tell me about that, Jeff.
So, Latin Moves Dance Studio. It was ran by Luis Lopez. He directed it for years, and in 2017 he wanted out of the business. So he contacted me. You know, at first, thank you, Omar. At first, I said no. I was like, you know, I got a lot going on, and we kept talking about it. We kept talking about it, and then eventually I took over. I took over the studio in Connecticut. So I've been there since 2018.
Okay.
So I've been there since 2018. 2019, my lease ended in Queens.
Okay.
It ended. I think it ended early in the year, but I was trying to renew the lease, and what ended up happening was the owner told me he was selling the building and that they wanted an empty building, so he didn't renew my lease. So at the end of 2019, I was teaching in Manhattan. So I was teaching in Manhattan, and you know, I still have the studio in Stanford.
Okay.
But then, you know, when COVID hit, I had to stop. I taught all the way up to the last day we closed because of COVID. So, you know, now I'm trying to get back to it. It's just that a lot of studios closed, so space is limited.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, hopefully I got something in the works, and I'll be teaching in Manhattan soon again.
Okay. Get a special Cllave out to my man Izzy Rodriguez. Hey, what does this comment say? I can't see to save my life. What did Izzy say, Jeff? Can you read that for me?
He said that Tom is a great guy.
Yeah. So we're going to I remember when you guys came on the cruise with us.
Yeah, man.
We had so much fun, Jeff. That's when we really hooked up. You know, we had a ball on it. Now, how long had you been dancing before then, Jeff?
Well, actually, I had stopped. I stopped at the end of. I had stopped for like a year. So I had already been dancing for a couple years, for like 5 or 6 years, and I stopped a year before your cruise.
Okay.
I stopped. I tried to get into the restaurant business. It didn't, you know, it didn't go good for me, and I wasn't really planning to continue to dance. I actually started rehearsing with the team in SR. Like, I was like, hey, I want to kind of get back in dance shape. And what ended up happening was, once I started rehearsing, it was like, hey, I have this gig and this gig and this gig. And the All-Star Bachata Cruise was one of the gigs. So that was like my first or second show back from the year that I hadn't danced.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm not mistaken, that was like November 2010.
Yeah. December, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember a lot of that's actually where I met Island Touch guys. That's where I met Rudy. That's where I met Ataki La Alemana. Right? They performed. I think they did a salsa piece. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember them doing salsa. I remember I met Roland on that trip.
Yeah.
Right? Marlon I already knew. But you had a lot of fun on that trip.
We had so much fun, man.
We had a lot of fun.
We always talk about it, but you know, people, you kind of had to like be there to understand it, you know.
Yeah.
You remember the bathing suit contest?
Yeah. I wasn't sure you were gonna go I'll never forget that that we were all sitting there. I'll never forget this. And they had the contest, and I think you guys gave a cruise to the Europe one.
Yeah.
And I remember that there was one young lady that she had a robe on. And I was like, and she just had a look on her face like, oh, when I take this off, everybody's gonna like lose it. So I was like, I wonder, and and she was like ready to go first, and she went, and everybody was like, oh my, like everybody was in shock. And one of the guys next to me, he goes, that's like watching a slam dunk contest and somebody dunking from half court. It's over. And I was just like,
it was over. As soon as she walked out, it was over.
Yeah,
it didn't even matter what anybody else came out with, So, Jeff, your experiences with Santo Rico, tell me some of the countries and some of the different places that you got to travel while you were with Santo Rico.
I got to, let's see. I went to Germany a bunch of times. I went to Italy a bunch of times. Greece was definitely a memorable one.
Mm-hmm.
Greece was interesting, and we danced in a huge stadium when we went to Greece.
Wow!
And they headlined. The headliner was Mark Anthony.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh man!
So Greece was a big one. We did. We did a lot of stuff. We did Curacao. We did we did England. Like we definitely had a lot of work. I remember feeling overwhelmed because when I first started, it was only 3 guys.
Right.
So it was Edwin, myself. When I started, not when I first started, when I first started working.
Uh-huh.
It was Edwin, myself, and Thomas. So we were. It was and at that time he was taking only 3 couple gigs. So we were. It was like we had to go, and I had a full-time job.
Right.
So I had a full-time job, and I was teaching and the traveling. So it was a lot. It's funny because now, I always say this. I would love to get Europe. It's very hard. Yamule gets it, but for a team, it's very hard to get Europe. And especially, they got their dancers over there. They're fire.
Right.
So it's hard to get Europe. So I get most of my work in the States, and I get work in Canada. That's one thing. We do get work in Canada.
Okay.
But at the same time, like it was a little tough, man. Like traveling abroad is tough. You lose the day with the traveling, and it's like you party all weekend, and then having a full-time job. It was definitely tough. It definitely packed a punch, for sure.
Yeah. But you met thousands of people doing it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And what's crazy? They remember you. Like I remember going to, there was an event called Candela. That was actually my first Europe gig. And I remember going in 2009, and then I remember going 2 years later. And it's like everybody remembers you. So like whenever you go to event, they remember you. And some people from those trips, they still write to me. And they, so we were pretty good about that. Like the company was pretty good about making people feel good. I will say that.
Yeah.
So
that's good stuff. What did it feel like? What was your feeling, Jeff, when you first performed at the New York Salsa Congress on a Saturday night?
Yeah, to this day, like the New York Congress to me is still my number one.
Okay.
Right. And, it's actually as a director, right?
Uh-huh.
We perform, let me see, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we've performed 5 times, me being a director.
Uh-huh.
And we've had the opportunity to close 3 out of the 5.
Right.
And one of them I'm not gonna count because Karen and Ricardo, they're on another level. And the other one, it was the line, it was an intense year. Right. So, closing is not really that important to me. But when it comes to New York, it's different because that's home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like to me, like I always find a motivation wherever you are in the lineup. I tell the team, we're first, then we gotta start this. If we're in the middle, then we gotta make it harder for whoever comes next. If we close, then we gotta close with a bang. But representing New York like that, I feel like that's a major thing for me. So I still feel the same from what I did year one when I first started doing it.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. Wow. So, Jeff, did you? I mean, I know you're very competitive, and I know you're an athlete. You are an athlete, and athletes are very competitive.
Yeah.
But between you and I, you never thought that you would be director of a world championship team. Is that correct? Am I correct on that? Did you ever think that? Did you ever think that?
Nah, you're definitely correct. I honestly, I didn't even want to, like, as much as people don't get this, I never wanted to direct. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to dance and be in the mix and work and learn new stuff and the camaraderie, like that situation where like I said before, when you're not that good, right? It's like, okay, so we're gonna work to become better.
Right.
I'm the hunt. I enjoy the hunt more than the kill. Right. So getting to be a champion was actually a lot more interesting than winning, because that journey was real. You know what I mean? To get and trying to figure it out and becoming almost obsessed with it. Like, why, like, okay, so what did we do wrong? Like, what's this? Why is this team better? Why is that team better?
Right.
So I'm more of a hunt. I like the hunt. I like the challenge of getting there. That's just me. But yeah, it's been a great experience. And I think even more than our team winning, the number of the number of amateur routines that I've been able to put together that have won, that's very special to me, because that's the future of dance, right? So it's like when you can get a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old to come out and put themselves on the map, and people say like, wow, you got these people that are yours, they're lighting it up, like that's been a really special thing. And we've actually won a lot in the amateur division. It doesn't get as much publicity, like nobody talks about it much.
Right.
But there was one competition, check this out, where we had three the on-to amateur division. It's like 40 couples, 45 couples. And they do the finals. I think they bring back 6 couples. And in the finals, I had 3 couples enter, and I had all 3 couples in the finals. And then we took 5th place, and then we took 2nd place, and we took 1st place.
Right. Wow.
So in the same division. So we basically, the 1st and 2nd place dancers were from Huracan, and we had a couple that if maybe they would have had a little bit more time, we could have literally had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. Wow. And that's a very, very tough division. Shout out to all of them: Andre, Kiara, Abraham, Lisette, Missy, Rosin. They came out and they did their thing. And Kiara, she's dominated the female amateur division. She won 3. I think she won 3 times, and she won a coupled one with Julie. 1st place, I think, maybe even more than that. In the big one in Summit. I'm not even counting the smaller events. And the team, Tumbao, I think they competed 7 times their first 7 times competing amateur as a team,
Uh-huh.
they won first place.
Wow.
So they didn't win it the last one, but 6 out of 7, I would say that that's not bad. You know,
Not bad at all. So you've been working hard, Jeff. You've been working hard. Yeah, you had some great experiences, man. Great. Great. I mean, you danced for several years with one of the best groups that ever were in the game. You know, and your group is fire now. You're doing your thing now. We mentioned the New York Salsa Congress. Give us some of the good news you need to spread about a possible Congress you might be dealing with coming up.
Yeah, so Connecticut Salsa Fest, we've rebranded, and it will be called Tri-State Dance Festival. And I was supposed to do it last year. I was supposed to promote it last year. And obviously COVID, didn't allow for that. But we're we're talking with the hotel again. Connecticut is almost open. So, within a week or so, I'll have a finalized answer, but it looks like we are going to do it this year. It's not going to be in June as anticipated. I actually had a conversation a couple weeks ago with the promoters of New York. I explained to them our situation, and they told me that they were deciding not to do it this year. So, I asked for their blessing for the date because, those guys have been very good to us, and I want to make sure that I promote them always going forward. So we're probably going to do it Labor Day, but we're going to be confirming within the next week. It's tough because, my issue is, how do you do this and keep everybody safe?
Right.
And I don't feel that temperature checks is enough for something like that. So we're trying to put together a database, and we're trying to really partner with the hotel and try to make a successful event that's as safe as possible. That's why I haven't done any promotion, because unless I can answer those questions,
right,
I'm not in a position to start promoting like that.
Exactly.
So, but what we want to do is, I really want to get the East Coast dance scene involved. Hopefully we can have you up there. It'll be cool to do it. So, I just want to make sure that we do it the right way. You know what I mean? We want to. The Connecticut Salsa Festival has been a great event for years, but I want to make sure that we can do it in a safe manner. The good news is Connecticut will be fully vaccinated, hopefully. They're expecting by basically the end of May.
All right.
They're saying probably earlier than that. But they're moving along in the process really well. And hopefully New York can be vaccinated by sometime in July, which is what I'm hearing. So, it looks like this is something that we might be able to do. I'm excited about it. I'm nervous, but I'm excited about it.
All right. Okay.
So this will be a new adventure, a new, way of doing things.
Yeah, I'll come up there, man. It all depends. If Abel's gonna be up there, I don't know whether I'm gonna show or not.
Yeah.
You be acting like a gump sometime, but Okay, so that was a little bit of the big news. We're gonna segue into the big news. First of all, how and where and when did you meet Julie?
I met Julie dancing. At first it was just we danced. We started dancing together. We became dance partners.
Okay.
I would say something like 2013 around there.
Okay.
But at the time, I'm a ladies' man, so I have my situation going with somebody else.
Okay.
And she was breaking hearts. So, but when Huracan came about, right? she had left to school, and then when she came back from school, we were dance partners, and we just got closer and closer and closer, and then eventually her and I got together, which was funny because when me and her did get together, people were speculating.
Uh-huh.
I told her, I said, listen, just don't say anything, don't address anything, just leave it alone.
Uh-huh.
So the funny thing is that, I'm engaged now. But when I did propose,
congratulations.
Thank you. I had a group of people and I told them, hey guys, by the way, me and Julie are seeing each other, and everybody laughed because we never spoke about it. We never, I wanted to keep things private, if that makes sense, right? Especially being in a dance studio, and being a director, I was trying to avoid all the noise,
right?
And me and her, we had a very private relationship, but we grew closer, especially over this year, over COVID, and I kind of know what I want, so I made the decision, and we're getting ready. We're planning a wedding. We live together now.
Wow.
We might get a dog.
Oh, okay.
We're really getting domesticated. We get a dog. That's it.
Okay. That sounds good. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing, Jeff. And she's a very lovely young lady. As well.
I had to take myself for,
Is she coming on? Did you give her the link? Or is she coming on? Or?
She's going to pass by. She's going to say hi.
Okay. All right. She's awesome. Hello, Julie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good shirt.
I'm doing good. Good.
What I said in the beginning, right? Look at the shirt.
All right.
Biggie shirt. Got the Biggie shirt. You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations, Julie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow.
So no more.
Jeff, you got a lot on your plate. You're getting ready to get married. You're getting ready to do a big event.
Yeah, and just to kind of throw this out there, Huracan, we're coming to Orlando. We're going to do the Orlando Salsa Congress. We're going to do, it looks like we might be doing something. I don't know. We got a little something brewing, a little shine, we got a nice little, we're trying to put something together, and it's coming out all right. If we hit the mark, we may compete one more time.
Okay.
It looks like we're going to be doing Chicago. Shout out to Rudy and Island Touch.
Okay.
It looks like we're going to be doing that. So it's exciting to get back into it. We haven't performed. The last time we performed, we were where? Hawaii. We were in Hawaii the last time.
Okay.
So we haven't danced since February of 2020.
Okay. All right.
So, and I kind of took a hiatus for a while. I wasn't really in the mix or doing videos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But we're getting it back together. The team, we're getting the band back, and we're going to try to say we do a few things.
That sounds great. I know the last time you guys came down to the anniversary, what I like about your group is, even though you guys are New Yorkers, I say that to say, New Yorkers are tough. They're a tough crowd. You got to really be able to dance, for them to dance with you. But you guys came down and social dance with our little dancers.
Yeah.
Which was great, and even gave me a couple of dances, and the performance was fabulous. And so we always like to have you guys come down.
I was dope. I had a lot of very interesting conversations that night too. It was cool. So it was a lot of fun. And we had you're not gonna believe this, but we had close to 40 gigs lined up for 2020.
Wow.
And one day we were complaining like, man, this is too much work, and then the next week we were shut down. It's crazy. Yeah. But that's the way it is, you roll with the punches and you keep it moving.
There you go. Keep it moving.
Earl, how long you been dancing for?
In general, or dancing salsa?
Salsa.
25 years.
25.
Yeah. I was in the nightclub.
Mid-90s.
Yeah. I was in a nightclub one night, and you know how stupid I am. I'm sliding across the floor, walls, all that dumb stuff that had nothing to do with anything. trying to get attention, an attention whore. Look at me, look at me. So when I finished, there were two young ladies were twerking on me, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you 30.
Back then we called that el baile de perrito, though. We didn't call that twerking.
Oh, okay. And I'm like, Earl, you're 39 years old, fool. You're the old man in the club. You got to stop this. This is not a good look for you. So I didn't want to be the old man in the club, but I still wanted to dance. So the next day I walked down the street and there was a sign that said, free salsa classes with Ricardo. And I was 39 years old, and I've been dancing for 24 and a half years straight until March 13th of 20th. And I just loved it. I just loved it.
You fell in love with it.
I didn't get into it for the women because I already knew how to dance hip hop, and luckily for me, women weren't a problem. So I didn't get into salsa because of the dancing, you know. But
well, believe it or not, it wasn't. You know, when I said that Tiffany gave me the flyer,
right,
and I saw it. I looked at her, but that's actually true for me too. Like I didn't really dancing. It was never about that for me.
Right.
Because remember, you know, I was an athlete, so I got attention early.
Exactly.
And I got it out of my system early, you know, and it's crazy because like some of the things that are going on now, I always feel that, like, you know, for some people, when they get all this attention in one shot, it's overwhelming, and sometimes they don't know how to handle it. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. See,
that wasn't for me. Like I was actually, I'm one of the calmer guys. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I had my fun, but probably before I started doing this.
Yeah.
And now it's too late. You know, I'm locked up now.
That's all right. You're blessed. You're blessed. That's all. You got a beautiful young lady, and God is good.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, Jeff, I know you're busy. You got stuff you got to do. Julie, it's always a pleasure seeing you.
Likewise, Earl.
Okay.
When am I gonna see? When are you gonna get out and about?
You know, that's funny. You know, since March, I haven't gone anywhere. I went to my play daughter's birthday last week, and I went to a friend of mine, two promoters, husband and wife team. They had their 12th year anniversary.
Right.
And I'm kind of sentimental about anniversary. So I went out there to show respect for them and show them love, and to show love for my play daughter, Yoey Moore. I had my mask and everything. I stayed out there for about an hour, but that was only because of them. I ain't going nowhere till I know this thing safe. I don't play around, you know.
When are you gonna do another cruise?
You know what? Here's the thing to answer your question. I'm competitive, but I'm not competitive.
Yeah.
I say that to say when we did our thing, it was great and it was hot and it was something different. But I don't like to do things that I can't compare. I don't think nothing can compare to that Aventura cruise. So I think that'd be a waste of time for me. But
have you been on Aventura?
I haven't been on it, but I know they have over 1,500, 2,000 people. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Wild party.
Yeah, you know.
But our cruise was a different thing, though, you know?
Yeah, but hold on, though. Because Aventura is huge now. I've been on it. I went on both. Aventura is huge, but Aventura got huge. Because my first Aventura cruise, there was 250 people.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that cruise was very interesting.
Well, we don't know. We'll see. You never want to say never, but you know, we're thinking about maybe having a little private getaway somewhere, like the Cancun or something, and make it a little smaller. You know, because cruise ships, and hotels are the biggest crooks in the world. They'll rob the hell out of you. So you have to be very careful with cruise ships and hotels. But I think maybe coming up just before I retire, and maybe we'll do another getaway trip or something like that.
Yeah, because you know, You gotta get especially that Bago championship, man. That those games we was playing. I mean,
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah. But before I let you go, Jeff, I just wanted to tell everyone that Santo Rico was on a cruise with us, and the waters were so heavy, we had to stay out to sea an extra day because going up and down, and we couldn't come under the boat couldn't come under a barrier they had over in Tampa, so we had to stay out to sea.
Yeah, that was
boat rocking like crazy, and Santo Rico did a routine and did not miss not one step. That's when I knew.
That was one of the crazy. You know what's crazy about that? I was backstage and we hit like one of those waves. You know, those waves were crazy. And I remember that the basically the floor went like this. So when I looked, the person that was next to me, they looked like they were above me because that wave. And I was like, yo, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna go out there? And and it worked out. I remember that we were like walking around the ship and not seeing anybody because everybody was in their rooms that night. Yeah, they weren't feeling well. The only people we saw was the little social, the pajama social. But yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was good. We had some really good times, man. I got to come up there and hang out with you guys. You know what's so funny? You said maybe Connecticut. Maybe I come to Connecticut. I never. Go Earl's never been to Connecticut. Never.
Yeah.
Never ever.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna talk to you. You're gonna come down as my guest, and we're gonna hang out.
Whoa, now we talking. I can do that. So Jeff, I was wondering. Before I retire, I would like to probably do a routine. You think I could get you to choreograph a senior routine for me and maybe a couple other people?
Listen, man, whenever you're ready. I want to perform with you. Why don't we perform next to each other?
All right, Jeff. Jeff, thank you so much. Julie, it's always a pleasure to see you. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Yeah, I see some people wrote comments and I hadn't seen it before. Shout out to everybody. And we'll be back. We'll be back very soon. Yeah. And we're at the back end of this. So stay safe, keep your family safe, stay healthy. And you're not gonna recognize me though. None of my costumes fit me anymore.
Okay. All right.
I almost lost a person already. Almost.
Okay. All right.
So we'll see you soon, and hopefully all these things, we stay consistent with what we got scheduled, and looking forward to it.
All right, Jeff. Thank you. All right, Jeff, Julie. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it so much. I'll see you soon, Jeff.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.